Welcome to the Bree Pod. I'm here with me, Bree. Today was the day that I got my braces, and they are on right now as we speak. It was a very intriguing time because in the moment they put in this big like mouthpiece to make sure your mouth is open, and then they had my tongue in this other piece, which was actually kind of nice because it made sure that you weren't, salivating and worrying about that while you're, laid back and they're putting on brackets. But overall, I did have a panic attack in the midst of it. I don't think that they fully noticed, and if they did, they didn't say anything, but I just basically tried to use my breathing techniques to make sure that I was calming myself down in the moment. And usually I'm constantly telling my mind, like, it's okay. This is only temporary. You're going to get through this. She said that they're halfway done. Let's get to the next one. So I'm always talking like that in my head, especially when big changes like this happen and I'm fearful and scared. Now that the braces are in, it's only been a couple hours, but it definitely feels weird having extra stuff in my mouth. What I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys, like I always am. When I first looked at myself in the mirror, I cried. I think it just was a huge change that I did not expect to see. And I know that it's good, and I know it's going to lead to, the surgery, which is going to lead to longevity of the bones in my teeth or the bones in my mouth. And it's going to lead to longevity of not having to face, like my teeth falling out at 50 years old. But in the moment of seeing myself with braces on, it was scary and sad. But my husband is a huge supporter, and many people in my life were super supportive and loving with their kind words and checking in on me and just letting me know that you got this, girl, you look beautiful. And I really appreciate all of that because it's a huge change in life. It's not something that I ever thought I would do. Like, I didn't think that it was possible to do what we're doing, to be on this journey to surgery. The first time they even said this to me, I thought that it was just for aesthetics. So I was like, nah, I can roll with what I have. But they said that it, once they told me that there was more that needs to be worked on and more that I could prevent if I do this, and especially doing it young while I'm still young, because the thing is, the older you get, the harder it is to heal. So it's kind of like it's now or never. And it's not going to be an easy ride because we do a lot of traveling, as you guys know. And this is supposed to be on for probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And so it's going to be an interesting change in our lives, which, we're going to do it. We're going to go forward with this. The surgeon that I spoke with, he is super sweet, super funny too, and really made me feel supported. And I think it helped too that like his main job, which he basically told me, is that he does these surgeries all the time. It is about 150 plus a year and more. And the other thing that he told me was that apparently on the West Coast, he is one of the three people that are like the top people that's like top surgeon to go to. And luckily he's in network, so that's very helpful as well. And so that made me feel good to know like he does this all the time. He has a plan, and they work with my orthodontist together. They work together to make sure that my teeth are going to be in a placement where they can move the lower jaw forward and get the teeth aligned nicely. And what's really nice too is that we do not have to do double jaw surgery. Just one of the jaws will be moving and it'll be the lower. And I think what was another thing that I really enjoyed about talking to him is that he felt very confident that this will be a good life changer and that he can help me succeed. And what I love too is he also said that his team will fight very hard to get the insurance to hopefully cover it. That does not necessarily mean they will, but I'm glad that he can be an advocate for me as well, because I really need that. And according to I should say this too, when I was at this meeting, he had a whole team where I talked to him, I talked to his assistant, and I talked to their financial people all in one day. And they were very upfront and honest. They told me all the costs that we could run into. They told me the cost with insurance, without insurance, what it's going to look like, what the year will look like, what recovery will look like. And even though it's a scary process and not going to be perfect butterflies and rainbows, of course, it still just made me feel safe. And like, my time is now. It's time to continue to focus on my health. I've been focusing on my mental health. I've been focusing on my physical health. I'm focusing on my nutrition. And basically, we can go on and on and on. But I'm now focusing on the longevity of my health as well. And today, even though I cried, I know that this is a good step forward. And I'm going to continue to bring you through this journey with me. So with that, I'm just excited to see what happens. I probably will post photos on my blog because I do want to share the beginning of what it looked like before and see the progress with you guys, because when you're looking at yourself every day, I feel like it's hard to see the differences, but as we go along, we're going to start to see some change. And the other thing that they did tell me is that it may look worse before it gets better, because the way that my mouth has a bunch of crowding, they need to pull the teeth, like the teeth on the sides need to be pulled out a bit. The teeth in the front need to be pulled in a bit. And then the bottom teeth, there's a whole lot of stuff that's going to have to happen there. We'll see what happens. But anyway, so we're on the track. We're on the journey to jaw surgery. It's crazy to even think that that's where we're at right now. And I will say, you're going to be hearing a lot of me this month because I have so much to share that I can't even put it in one episode. And so, hey, I mean, it's called the Brie Pod anyway, right? I'm very excited for you guys to hear a lot of things coming up, a lot of changes in my life, a lot of things that have basically flipped my world upside down in good ways. And it's crazy. It's just, everything happened at once, it feels like. So I've got a lot to share, and I'm very excited to do so. And I'm happy to have all of you with me on this journey and supporting me. And thank you again to everyone that sent me messages, because, even though change is good, and even though things are going to come out of this and be such a beautiful thing, it's not always easy mentally. And that's just kind of what I expected, because sometimes I get fearful of change. Sometimes change is hard for me. So I am grateful to be able to just learn and grow. And yeah, it's an interesting time. To talk about how the braces feel so far, feeling the metal against my lips are weird. She told me to try not to try the wax yet, because since I'm gonna have these on for so long, I should just try to see if I can get used to it a little bit and then move to the wax if it's really, really bad. The cleaning process is gonna be hysterical because since I have crowding already, it makes it very difficult. I mean, it made it very difficult before to do flossing. And so the girl that cleans my teeth, she's really sweet. She told me that I should try flossing from the side because I guess normally you could just go down and up, but the way that my teeth are, you kind of have to find that angle and go from the side. Well, now I have braces in, so it's kind of a different story. And what's cool is they gave me this little, basically looks like a sewing hook. You put your floss on it, you put it underneath your braces, you know, to get around that metal and then floss. So tonight before bed, we'll see how that goes. It's gonna be a sight to see, that's for sure. But I won't take a video or anything of that because that's just a weird time for me in general. But yeah, it's happened. We're on the journey. A year and a half from now, we're gonna be having surgery. It's like, I don't know why I keep saying we, I apologize for that, but just crazy. I'm gonna have surgery. They did say that it's not like my face is gonna drastically change per se. It's just that it's gonna be a different look to me. Like I will still be myself. I'll still look like me. But the way that my mouth sits, it will sit better. And the way that my teeth are gonna be. Like for me, it will be a change, I feel. Even though they said that, it's not that I'm saying that I'm gonna look like some different person, but I'm just saying for me, it's gonna be different because I've been used to a gap. I've been used to crowding. I've been used to my teeth like going different directions. And now we're gonna get this, basically my mouth getting to a place of where they're not so far protruding out, where there won't be a gap, where my back or bottom teeth will actually meet up where they're supposed to be. Because right now, if I close my mouth, like they say to clench your jaw down so they can see where your teeth hit. When I close my mouth, you cannot see the bottom half of my teeth. You just see the top, which normally it's supposed to be, I guess, where you can see a bit of the bottom, which I've never had. So to me, that's not normal. So anyways, it's a journey. It's gonna be an interesting ride. I do foresee more tears, but I think it's just what happens with change. And I think change has always been kind of scary for me, even though we do it a lot, especially with traveling. I think traveling is going to be interesting too, because I need to be committed to this with my teeth. So I'm probably going to do a lot of traveling if we have to travel again to continue this journey and path. So a lot's going to happen with this life change, and I know that's for the good, and I try to remind myself of that. But I'm also going to always be very honest with you guys, because there's no need for me to constantly show you a highlight reel when there's lows. And today I'm going to be straight up with you. There was a low at first because I'm not used to seeing myself like this. I'm not saying that my teeth, I'm not saying that like with the gap and with them protruding out, that that's really what I want to look like either. But it's new, it's different. And I think it's just knowing that it's another chapter of life. And even though it's good, it's like, oh gosh, I'm scared. But we're gonna get through it. Well, I don't know why I say we, I apologize. I always say that, but I think it's just because I have so many people that, you know, have my back and they talk to me about it and they support me. And so I feel like I'm not alone, I guess, doing it. And there are people that have reached out to me that have gone through this journey. And it's funny, even at the orthodontist office, there are people that are really excited to see what's going to happen, because they like their surgery cases. I mean, don't get me wrong, they love every case that they have. But they love the surgery cases because it's such a big change, and it even just brings out a little bit more confidence, but also the longevity of your health and such. So they just love that where you started to where you go. So, and I do plan on talking to some people that have actually had the surgery with my surgeon, because I am curious like what they did. But so far, any person I've talked to about this have said that they do not regret their decision, that they are very happy that they made this choice, and that they would do it all over again, even through the pain. Because the first week of jaw surgery recovery, it is hell. They already told me it's going to be hell. And I'm going to be scared. Y'all know this. I'm going to be freaking out. But I've got a great support system, and I'm going to take you guys along with it. And there are going to be moments where I'm mentally not going to do okay with how my face is all puffy, or how, like, you know, that pain is going to feel. Like, these are issues that have been there for a very long time, that I'm still recovering from. I still recover. Like, I'm not saying I'm back to the ways that I was with my eating disorder, but I'm still recovering. And there's a lot of stuff behind that surface up, you know, when changes happen like this. And I'm not trying to sound like someone all about vanity. I'm not trying to sound like that, but unfortunately, I worry about those things. And that's what, you know, my therapy is for, is to help me work through this, and to help me see that, you know, I don't need to be afraid of every little change. But it's a recovery process, you know. Healing isn't linear. We always talk about that. And it takes time. And I just ask, really, with the next few episodes that are coming out from me, which we do have a middle one with Erin Claire Jones actually next week. But the next few episodes, I just ask that you understand that please come with a bit of grace, because the things I'm about to share and the things that I'm going to be talking about, they're not all going to be rainbows and butterflies. And they're going to be my true, honest me. And it's not to be rude. It's not to make, like, I know we all have our own journeys, our own way of going about things. But, you know, with the stuff that I'm working on, with the healing that I'm working on, there's some things that are hard for me. Like today was hard. But at the same time, I try to continue to look at why, what is my why? I try to look at how the pain is going to be only temporary. And I try to look at it just from a beautiful perspective, that this is worth it. And it absolutely is going to be. So, with that, I think for an affirmation, which a lot of these I've said basically for myself too, so I can go back and listen to my episode and then just be like, okay, I need to remember this. But I think with my affirmation, I basically want to share that there is light at the end of the tunnel, even when it feels super dark. Even when you're like, oh gosh, I don't see it. I don't see it. There is. It comes, it's tiny, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's so important to remember that, and to know, and to continue to look toward it, because sometimes it can be intense. So with that, you are loved, you are worthy, you are cherished, and I